Hi everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. I'm here today with a flip through of another Curiosa journal from my series. This one is Dark Dusty Attic, and it is one of the two that are in this red colored book instead of the brown colored book. This is the same legal library series if you've seen some of the other videos. These books are from the 1940s and 50s. This one's from 1944, and I absolutely love the patina on this book. It is just really beautiful. It's got the nice corners. So if you haven't seen any of these videos yet, this is a curiosity cabinet and collecting kind of oddities type series of books that I've done with sculptural collage on the front, and we can probably get into it. So this book is 6 1/4 wide by 9 1/2 inches tall. It has a 2-inch spine. The book, as I mentioned, is from 1944. It has 6 signatures and 172 pages. So on the spine, I have this dangling. This is a doll, a woodcut doll, laser cut by an Etsy shop called Pork Chop Show, and he does all sorts of really cool woodcuts. So on the cover, this is an authentic vintage cabinet card of these two little kids. I love how she's sitting up on a table. It's just very sweet. I've used this vintage book spine that says Dark Dusty Attic. This is a shell that I have drilled a hole into, attached with a big metal brad, and added some fun number brads, a little number sheet from a little fortune toy from like the 60s that was inside these old toys that I got, and then a little journal label here for adding something to. So the journal closure is with metal eyelets, and I have used this really soft silk ribbon to close it. And when you open it up, it is similar to the other journals. If you notice that they all open in sort of the same kind of fashion, and that I've used Tim Holtz paper in the background, but this one's different. I created a pocket with one of my rusty bits that I created here, and I added a vintage cabinet card tin type inside of this beautiful girl. She's just lovely. Her name is Miriam Johnson, and yeah, that is from like the turn of the century, like 1920 maybe at the latest. And then this is a little journal card made from a book called Curiosa that was written and sort of curated by this collector and artist who collects things. People send her things from like famous people, you know, the situations that have happened in the world, historical things, all sorts of things. And she just basically curates a massive collection of samples. So this is a chip of paint from the Hollywood sign in California from 1978. So that's a little journal card that just goes in there. So this page opens up with a theme that you'll see throughout these books, which are kind of like library cabinet pockets. I thought that would be like a fun add into this whole theme. So this one says poison, do not consume. This one has one of my hand-drawn labels on it. This is a little journal card that says toxic. Just a fun little bit of writing space there, and it tucks in the pocket. And this is little Madame Macabre, a little piece of like a little cutout. I don't know where it came from, but I quite liked it and thought it belonged well in here. And then a couple of journal cards from a book called Cabinet of Curiosities, written and illustrated by Albertus Seva. And this is another page from that book, and I used it as a central theme in this collection, so you'll see it kind of like the journal kit, but not a kit, that helped me to create the style of these books. So on this side, we have this little moon here and more of the Cabinet of Curiosities. And then I have this whole collection of kind of personal and sort of like everyday photography from like the 70s and 80s. So this is Kelly and her dog outside her duplex on August of 1980. And so I put a little mask on Kelly there and a little bat up in the sky just to make it kind of a curious picture. And this is a page from a calligraphy practice book. This is a little plastic pocket that has a journal card inside. All of this is from the Cabinet of Curiosities. All sorts of amazing illustrations. This is a mushroom pocket. That paper is from 49 and Market, and this is just a really nice piece of stationery that goes inside here. This is one of my carbonized plant pages on rusty sketchbook paper. This image is from Gold Quixote on Etsy. This page has been pearlized and rusted, and this is a little snippet of a book that I just thought was really interesting, and so I added it there. A little pocket to be discovered anew with a flying fish on some of the Curiosity paper. And then this is one of my laminated pockets. It has a real plant inside that I've laminated inside. This image here is from the Graphics Fairy, and they are like scanned antique photo frames. And then this strange image is from Gold Quixote, also on Etsy. So that pops in here, and you can see them peeking out there. This text spot is just some fun text, and we have this journal card of a fortune teller inside the pocket. It's from a 1970s Myth and Magic magazine. Some numbers up the side of this page. These are some of my bejeweled ornamental eyes from my kit on Etsy. A little bunny unicorn. More of the Cabinet of Curiosities. This is a belly band on a Cabinet of Curiosity page, just from some nice scrapbook paper. And this is an envelope that I figure you could use it as an envelope, but you could also write on it. And it's one of my carbonized plant on rusted paper envelopes. And those are ironwood leaves. This is some dyed paper. Another image from Gold Quixote. More of the rusted plants. And this is a little pocket here for this strange image of this woman in front of this big cage. It's really kind of cool. Another page from the Cabinet of Curiosities and more calligraphy paper. This beautiful bird from Cabinet of Curiosities. More of the little drawers here. So in this one we have one of my laminated leaves, and this is just a vintage photograph from 1979. Just this lovely lady. And up here we have a couple other interesting things. So one of these is actually an ID card, a proof of age for Alberta Liquor Control, for this gentleman, Barry Doucette, from 1957, was his birthday. So in an old antique store, I found a series of photo albums, and I have everything from his birth certificate, his baby bracelet, a little lock of his hair, all the way to his death certificate. And it was the saddest but also most compelling thing that I think I've ever found while antiquing, to just have all of the photo albums of his life, every accomplishment that he ever made. I'm assuming his family is gone. I tried looking for them, but I didn't find anyone. So I just kind of look at it like now this collection of his things are mine to kind of look after, which I have done, and I share bits of them in my books because there isn't a whole lot more important to me in terms of like my creative output into the world than the art that I do. So I feel like he's a special part of like all of these things that I release into the world. So yeah. This is a 1961 photo, not related to Barry in any way, of this sweet little boy in a cool like old living room. It's really neat. Each of these books have one of these sample botanical pages. So these are all plants that are either native or common within North America, and I have dried all of these samples myself, and they are inside of stitched coin collector pockets. So this is like a plastic. Nothing can escape. We have bleeding hearts, some rose petals, some violets, some oats, and yeah, just a little sample Curiosa type thing, right? And some more of the Cabinet of Curiosities. This says Apothecary Shop and Strange Oddities. And this is just an interesting piece of art. I really loved the horse, and she has, I guess her rider has been knocked down. This is some vintage 1890s AP gold legal ledger with actual writing. It's real ledger. Another page of the Cabinet of Curiosities book. And because it's snakes, I added this little label from the Cabinet of Curiosities scrapbook collection that says, "Always creepin', never sleepin'." And it is actually a tuck spot for this beautiful piece of art journal card. This is from an old art book. There's a little globe back there as well. There's lots of little details in these books, and sometimes I forget to mention them as I'm going. Then this is just a nice old black and white image from a surrealism art book, and I just really thought it was cool. So in here I've added more of these library cabinet type pockets. So this one says lavender blue, rosemary green, Cabinet of Curiosities, a collection of objects extraordinaire. So we have this little journal card of Edgar Allan Poe that tucks in here, and then this image of this lady with this butterfly in front of her eyes. Over here, a couple of things, a little label that says Erie, and this little boy, and this in front of a curtain. It's a little authentic photograph. And this is all collage paper back here, including a Journey concert ticket from I don't know where and when. All sorts of neat stuff. And then in here we have this little journal card of this little girl. This is some of my carbonized leaves on rusty sketchbook paper, geranium leaves, and sycamore. And some more of the Cabinet of Curiosity. And then one theme you'll see through most of these books, I think there might be one that I didn't put this into, is this Cabinet of Curiosities. So you'll see all these pictures of different things, and there's a little plague doctor mask and a doctor bag. These close with little metal eyelets, and this is some of my own hand-dyed bamboo yarn, and I chose bamboo because it's very slick and easy to undo. So even if you get a knot like I somehow did, it's very easy to untangle, easy to undo and do back up. So while these are inside all the books, none of them are the same. All the bits and bobs inside here, they may be stickers or little cutouts that you could glue throughout the book. They may be die cuts. They're all unique. So in the event you're interested in this journal or more than one of these journals and you are concerned that they're the same, there's very little that is the same in these books. And yeah, the whole collection, every book is very unique. So more of the rusty carbonized leaves. This is a brown paper pocket with a fun image of this creepy family from Gold Quixote on Etsy. In here, this is one of my giant tickets from my collection on Etsy, and it just pops in here. And back here we have kind of this cool collage. That's the word I'm looking for. And then this large journal card of a really interesting piece of art. I covered up some naughty bits with this little bit of writing. Springs in the wood, bewitched all the springs in the wood. I'm reading it backwards. So that's just a journal card that tucks in there. And then we have this lovely black and white image again. You'll see the surrealism in here. We've got this big giant guy kind of walking through this city. More of the Cabinet of Curiosities, and we have this fun bit of space. More of the AP Gold, what's it called? Ledger, yes. And then we have this scary guy here. He's a pocket, a little tuck spot. And this is from a scrapbook collection that was called Cabinet of Curiosities, and it says Rancid Bat Breath. And more of the Cabinet of Curiosities, and then this man with an early flying machine. It's a sticker. Another of the sample pages, so you can see little mini helicopters here and other bits and bobs. Again, none of this can come out. It's all stitched in. Rusty carbonized paper with Japanese maple leaves. This is some a little medical kind of Curiosa, a little pocket, and inside I thought it was appropriate to put a couple of nurses. This is an authentic photograph from 1960. you know, medical curiosities are a big part of the whole Curiosa. So this is another rusty carbonized paper with a couple of different kinds of leaves on it for extra writing space. Then we have this little pocket here on the Cabinet of Curiosities, and this is a fortune teller sort of article. This is particulars of a singular and curious circumstance which took place at the house of a well-known fortune teller with a strange appearance that was witnessed. Yeah, so it just goes on. It was from a Myth and Magic magazine from the 1970s. This is a stamp collector's paper. Here is some coffee-dyed Grey's Anatomy paper, and paper clipped to it is a 1935 Moss Garage invoice, an authentic document. And we will rusty paper clip that back on. This is like a little gray wall, and these two specimen kind of images are from the Junk Journal Studio, and it's on this fun kind of cobwebby scrapbook paper. And then this is a journal tag that I made. It says, it's time to take a look at all the bright, unusual things. And this image here is from Miles Beyond the Moon. Some of my dyed paper. This is a tuck spot. Oh, and it needs something. We should get something for it. I will put a little marker in here, and I'll get something right after this video, so it will be a surprise what will go in here. That's also from the Junk Journal Studio. Then we have just some nice, like, taped down, like a note page kind of, with an old book page for writing space. And then this has more of that, and I've just kind of added some random gilding to it, like it's an artist paper. And then the whole thing flips up, and the reason that I did that with the artist paper is this is a big piece of art, like a tree, but made from a hand. And this was from 1939, and it's from an old art book. And more of that same old book page paper. And then we have some more of the Cabinet of Curiosities, these beautiful shells, and more dyed paper. This is like a little roof that I cut out of a book to make a freeform pocket to hold on to this. This is Flora, and this is from an old book, and I just love this as a piece of art. It was from like a 1920s, I think, 1928, the book was from, and her necklace and in her hands are pansies. I just thought she looked so, like, serious. And then this is also cut from a book. It says booking office, and we have this witchy girl here. And behind it, I've tucked in this journal card that I made. The background is from Miles Beyond the Moon, and I don't recall where these witches are from, but they were a digital image. The back has this fun paper. But yeah, it's a fun journal card. More coffee-dyed Grey's Anatomy and stamp collector paper. More Cabinet of Curiosities, and this envelope that holds this journal card. Just a cool piece of art from like an old art book. More of my carbonized Japanese maple leaves and a life insurance envelope. In the envelope, we have this journal card that's like a, this is from Miles Beyond the Moon, the backing, but this is actually an authentic cabinet card photograph. But I took it off of the cabinet card that it was on because it was made from like a chipboard paper type substrate. It was too thick to put into the journal, and I also couldn't shred the layers, so I thought, why not just add it to this beautiful cabinet card that was made by an artist or a designer. So we did that instead, and it slips into that insurance envelope so that you see them there, and there's also this nice red label there. This is a tuck spot made from a scan card, which is a vintage board game. It's on a Curiosa page, and this tag of curious samples of things is in here, along with a laminated maple leaf that I made. Over here, a collage pocket made with some marbled paper from papertrail.ca, local artists. And this little image here, it says, "When the moon has risen high in the sky," and it has a bat. It is on Curiosa paper, and it has this different gulls of some kind. It's a journal card. And some more of the carbonized rusty paper, Japanese maple leaves. This is a skull tuck spot, and then here we have this kind of wrinkly and inky fun piece of paper from Miles Beyond the Moon. It has 1851 on it, and it's just a cool piece of art. And then over here we have this image of these strange girls and this little Easter bunny here, and I've added some collaging. And then a collage tag inside and a little label back here. This says Silent Inhabitants of Wood and Field. So this whole image is from my mycology kit, but then I added a little It Capilli Imaginarium set of eyes up there. She's also on Etsy. And then more of the little library style pockets. This one says Hyssop and Rue and Silk Cloth. So you think of it like supplies in some kind of a apothecary. And inside I've added one of my watercolor toads that you can use as a little journal card or as a glue down somewhere if you want. Inside each pocket there's one. I dyed the back side of the paper. This is a cool image from a photographer's sketchbook, and I love it so much because of this image of this little boy having his nose pulled up. It's just so funny to me. It's here too. I just thought it was too funny. The photo series was called In Your Face by the artist Paul Trevor. This is some inky paper and more of those fun pockets. This one has a journal card made from a digital that I've created but not released, I guess. And these are some seeds, and it's from a book from the 1800s called Farm Weeds. And then this is a spooky image from Gold Quixote on Etsy. More of the Cabinet of Curiosities and the carbonized Japanese maple leaves. More Cabinet of Curiosities and another of those envelopes with the big beautiful geranium and some other little leaves that have been carbonized on there. And then over here we have the insurance envelope again with that cutout. And in here we have this tag that I just collaged. And a little tuck spot here from the Curiosa book. It is skull fragment from a victim of the Black Plague, Kutna-Hora, Czech Republic, 14th century. And some fun spooky paper back there and a really cool owl journal card. This is a page of an antique doll book that I made a boiled book out of. So I'm not sure if you can see on camera. Hopefully you can. There are antique baby dolls back there. And then all you see are all these beautiful little like purple and gray and yellow little flowers and leaves that have printed on top of it. It is bound to stitched to fabric and bound in the book. The fabric has embroidered flowers on it. And I've painted with gray paint over the area that had text for more writing space. This is a cork pocket on some coffee dyed Grey's Anatomy paper. This is a journal tag that I made from the samples of that Curiosa book. So you can see all of these different things. So there's like all, this is all about like essentially criminals and things like that. So a piece of fringe from the Duke of Wellington's coffin, 1852, Undertaker's wound filler, wanted by the FBI, Wardell David Ford for murder. So these are all some samples of like, you know, the things that this artist collected that created that book. This is a belly band that I made from this lovely image of an owl. And behind it, this is a digital scan of an actual autograph that I have in an autograph book. It says, "There are gold ships and there are silver ships, but there is no ship like friendship. Yours till I don't know, Barclay Fritz, June 18th, 1937. And I thought that was kind of cool. This is some vellum graph paper. This is another page of the Cabinet of Curiosa. I think I need to add a little more tape to that. Give me just one moment. Okay, sorry about that. I figured out what happened. That page actually wasn't attached because it was part of this leaflet from this book, and I wanted to add it like a fly page. You know how like at the front of a book you'll have a page that's actually attached to another page, but I never actually attached it, so that's why it was just sticking there beside this vellum. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, let's continue. Sorry, it's attached now because I had my copper tape out and I wanted to attach it with copper tape and I never did. Okay, so we have this upper pocket that has this fun 49 in Market like faux vellum film, and it's a tuck spot for this black cat journal card. And then we'll move back into where we were here. So here are some really cool bottles. This is from a book called Past Objects, and it is a book that was written and photographed by an archaeologist who just recorded all the cool things that he did on his digs. So it's again like those kind of collector curator type things. And I added this little spooky creature from Gold Quixote at the bottom. So here is our page with all that fun copper tape. I've been using it throughout these books here and there, along with just like fun contractor's masking tape to make it look more like a, you know, like an old collector's scrapbook kind of, right? So this is from the Cabinet of Curiosities book, and then this is a Scantron, I believe, piece of plastic. You see all those holes? I think that's a Scantron testing sheet. And then inside we have this piece of stationery from a medical encyclopedia. And on back is just some fun postal envelope paper. So that just tucks in here. And that's now firmly attached to this page. Down here we have a little Bernard Berenson verse. I wish I could stand on a busy corner, hat in hand, and beg people to throw me all their wasted hours. Oh, and there we have, this is not a tuck spot, even though you might think it is. It's a cool image, though, from a 1970s like lifestyle and health encyclopedia, and I made it a flip down so that you could write on it. And we have this image from the Cabinet of Curiosities up here. This was just some fun stationery with like this pencil drawing on it. And more Cabinet of Curiosities, a jelly printed pocket with an It Capilli Imaginarium eye set down here. And this is La Blanche face powder. So that's an ad, and that is a little journal card. This says ceramics. It's another page from that cool archaeology book of found treasures from digs. This is a wraparound tuck spot, and on this side we have this cool piece of art from an art book. It just reminds me of like kind of a Baba Yaga, but a little bit different, and I just think that it's a really cool piece of art. So that just tucks back in here. And then on this side we have this creepy family of bunnies. I think this is from Gold Quixote as well, from the Cabinet of Curiosities collection on Etsy. This is more of the vellum graph paper with a bit of collaging. A couple of cork pockets, and in here we have a couple little bits with owls and mushrooms. These are all from Junk Journal Studio. Mushroom collage and another little collage. And they've got like little paper handles on the cork. This is another of the, the other side of the scan card. They were like these little folding folders. So I added the other half on this side on the Coffee Dyed Grey's Anatomy. And this is a sample of Mark Rothko's necktie with paint spots from the Curiosa book. Then more of the Boiled Book Antique Doll page. This one's especially cool. I really like it. And a little bird down here on some coffee dyed paper. This pocket is an old medical device illustration from an encyclopedia, and behind it is a Cabinet of Curiosities. This tag also has specimens on shelves. This big puffer fish here. This is just a little glued down collage. What does this say? Search warrant for moonshine, 678 East Canal Street, Williamsport, PA, August 27th of 1929, 9 p.m. Some more Cabinet of Curiosities, more of the Curiosa samples, different things. Oxygen tube used by Ace Frehley of Kiss, like just different weird things. It's on this fun waffly packaging paper, and then this is an Audubon bird collaged tag. Some vintage graph paper. Cabinet of Curiosities page with a little tuck spot, and this is an art doll from a fun art dolls book that I turned into a journal card. This little man here with this pumpkin, and it's a tuck spot on the Cabinet of Curiosities page, and this is, sorry for that, my battery had to get changed. Okay. Anyways, this little journal card is of a gargoyle. That's how long I've been talking. I killed a whole battery. So we have another boiled book page of these cool dolls. Very fun one over here. And then a bit of medical collaging on top of a Cabinet of Curiosa. So these are like medical bottles of renin and secretin. Those are from like a vintage encyclopedia set about like health and lifestyle. This is an airmail envelope with this cool little owl journal card. More carbonized leaves on sketchbook paper that's been rusted. This is an authentic druggist's card from Rochester, New York that I got in an antique store in an airmail envelope. Another of the Cabinet of Curiosity pages, and this is a wood fragment from the Thunderbolt roller coaster at Coney Island, New York, demolished November 17th, 2000. Another boiled book page of antique dolls. And this is a little pocket here that's been collaged. Emerson's Bromo Seltzer Cures for Headache. And it has a vintage postcard inside. When was it sent? In, I think that's 1974. Yes. It's on a Cabinet of Curiosities page. And then this is from a photography book, and I added a couple like this and this are added. I cut them out. And this says loose lips might sink ships. And there's a few more of those little cutouts here. And then in the pocket we have this, the Magnolia Hairnet journal card. Some vintage graph paper. This is an image that was cut from a book, just a cool picture. And then another of the Curiosa samples, a bone from the foot of an Egyptian mummy approximately 200 BC. It's a journal card on that waffly packaging paper. Another of the Curiosa pages. So there's Snap from Joe Namath's New York Jets jacket, 1979. And some other things. And then in here we have an authentic cabinet card of this lovely lady, and I love the embossed frame around it. It's really fun. Her name is Emma Ogram. And that is the end. And so at the back, again, I've kept it simple. I used this cigar box paper from Tim Holtz, and I just added my stamp here. And apparently I forgot to add my signature and the date, so I will do that right now before I forget. I've added some threads underneath the wax seal just for fun. And I will add a little something to that one pocket that needs it. I have something in mind, but it'll be a surprise. So if you're interested in this book, please keep an eye on my Etsy shop. It's best to follow me on Etsy, as well as my Instagram and YouTube. These will first go to my Patreon. If you don't follow me on Patreon, definitely consider it. I have all sorts of fun benefits there. And yeah, until next time, thank you for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this flip through. Bye for now.